absolutely insane when you stop and really think about how fast a superstar athlete can fall from grace in the eyes of their own teammates. They were reportedly getting sick of her. Sky teammates reportedly celebrated the departure of Angel Reese. There has never been a team at Maryland, at LSU, or the Chicago Sky where she did not have some sort of locker room problem with her teammates. People simply do not enjoy playing with her. This article, published by Yahoo Sports, did not hold back one bit. Critics are saying she can barely even make a layup. This information did not leak out by accident. This leak was intentional because what just came out about Angel Reese is not just another rumor. It is the kind of information that professional teams usually try to bury forever. But this time, someone clearly wanted it out in the public eye. They are calling Angel Reese a poison and a toxin that has been added to that locker room environment. Chicago Sky players are reportedly thrilled that Angel Reese is gone. It is becoming pretty obvious she was viewed as a locker room cancer. Her contributions were all about making herself look better on the stat sheet instead of making her teammates better. When insiders start saying the locker room is relieved she is gone, you are not dealing with gossip anymore. You are looking at a complete breakdown behind the scenes. While the headlines were focused on highlights and double-doubles, something very different was happening inside that Chicago locker room. And now the truth is finally catching up. One report called her a cancerous tumor. The Chicago Sky decided to finally cut said tumor out of the organization. This all started with a bombshell report. A report tied to Yahoo Sports coverage revealed something truly shocking. Multiple sources close to the Chicago Sky described a team that was not just frustrated. They were done. They were not just annoyed or divided. They were completely done. Some of these quotes reported by the Daily Mail are absolutely brutal. There has been so much apprehension between the team and her. Everyone is happy they do not have to deal with her various controversies anymore. It does not matter whether she brings it on herself or otherwise, the insiders are speaking out. According to those insiders, there was significant relief after Reese was moved. Think about that specific word, relief. That is not how teams talk about losing actual talent. That is how teams talk about removing a persistent problem. The reports describe an intense apprehension between the team and her, and even more telling is the fact that there is no love lost. This was not just a minor disagreement. This was a fractured locker room. This was not just one voice complaining. The consistency of the language across multiple reports really matters here. Multiple reports reached the same tone and the same conclusion. The environment improved immediately after she left. Chicago Sky players are reportedly feeling a massive locker room relief after the trade. They are relieved. Her contributions were always about making herself look better on the stat sheet. So now the question is, not if there was tension, it is how bad it actually got. If you have been paying attention, this did not just come out of nowhere. Fans saw flashes of it all season long. They saw it in the body language on the court. They saw it in the subtle reactions and the moments where teammates looked disconnected. Then there were the public moments that we all witnessed. You had veterans like Courtney Vandersloot indirectly responding to the criticism. You had visible frustration in the interviews. You had players forced to address things that should have stayed internal. That simply does not happen in a healthy locker room. The deeper you go, the clearer the pattern becomes. Reese publicly said she was not settling for the same stuff they did this year. She said they have to get good players and great players. She called that a non-negotiable for her. They suspended her for a half, and then she basically refused to suit up for the remaining games. She spent the second half of her season chasing double-doubles. When your back is apparently hurt, you should not be on a private jet to Vegas. She was caught twerking and having a ball as if her back never even hurt. While the Chicago Sky were actually trying to win games, she was just out there chasing stats. This was not just one isolated incident. This was building for a long time. Now let us talk about the numbers, because this is where the narrative really flips. On paper, Angel Reese looked very productive. Her rebounds were elite, and her double-doubles were constant. But when analysts started digging deeper, a different story emerged. Her field goal percentage was hovering in the 30s, and that matters because when your efficiency is that low, it raises real questions. Are these stats helping the team or just building your personal image? That is where the criticism started gaining real traction. They were getting sick of her. Sky teammates reportedly celebrate the departure of Angel Reese. Her teammates were not having it anymore. They were done with her. The Chicago Sky organization was done with her. There were documented moments where games were already out of reach and the focus shifted to chasing rebounds. She was chasing that extra bucket to secure a double-double, and opponents noticed it. There is even footage of teams aggressively shutting down those stat runs late in games. They did it because it was so predictable. That is not dominance, that is just exposure. Inside a locker room, trying to win games that approach does not sit well. Then came the breaking point when things finally went public. Reese openly criticized the roster and called for better players. She made it clear that what she had around her was not enough. An anonymous source claims the move has brought significant relief inside the organization. Sky players are thrilled that she is gone. She was viewed as a locker room cancer. In professional sports, that is one of the fastest ways to lose a locker room. When you say those things publicly, you are putting your teammates on blast. According to multiple reports, that moment did not go unnoticed. It changed how people saw her. It changed how they responded to her, and it changed the internal dynamics of the team. But it did not stop there. Then came the suspension situation. Reports indicate she was disciplined and sat for a portion of a game. What happened next only made things worse. Instead of returning and finishing strong, she reportedly refused to suit up again. Let that sink in for a moment. At a time when the team needed stability, things went the opposite direction. Inside a professional locker room, that is something players do not forget. Culture is not built on talent alone, it is built on accountability. The irony of the situation with Kennedy Carter is that she was the poster child for toxicity in the first season. But things did not change after they ran her out of the league. Now the story takes a turn that most people did not expect. Despite all the controversy, Reese was still a two-time All-Star in her first 2 seasons. That is extremely rare. It is almost unheard of for a player with that resume to be moved so quickly. Think about it. A player performs well statistically and gets traded before year 3. That does not happen unless something deeper is going on. And that is exactly what this situation is exposing. This was not a talent decision. This was a culture decision. The return package makes that even clearer. Instead of building around her, Chicago moved on for future draft picks. There was no superstar swap or immediate replacement, just picks, which tells you everything you need to know. They were not trying to maximize trade value. They were trying to reset the environment. When you line everything up, the reports, the quotes, and the body language, it all points in one direction. This was not media spin. This was a locker room reaching its limit. And once that line is crossed, there is no going back. The Chicago Sky have officially parted ways with Angel Reese. She was shipped to the Atlanta Dream in exchange for first-round draft picks in 2027 and 2028. Predictors believe the Sky will be the long-term winners in that trade. Just about anybody can find someone with a field goal percentage in the 30s who pads their rebounding stats. Her contributions were always about making herself look better, not making her teammates better. Having 2 first-round picks for the next 2 years allows the franchise to create a formidable squad. Sky players are thrilled that Reese is gone because she was viewed as a locker room cancer. An anonymous source claims the move has brought significant relief inside the locker room. Some of the quotes reported by the Daily Mail are absolutely brutal. Insiders say everyone is happy they do not have to deal with her various controversies. There is no love lost. When she returns with her new team, she will be the enemy. But while all of this was unfolding, another player was doing the exact opposite. No drama and no locker room tension, just pure impact. While Angel Reese was losing the trust of her team, Caitlin Clark was gaining control of the league narrative. That is not just a storyline shift, it is a power shift. In today's WNBA, it is not just about stats anymore. It is about influence and elevating teammates. It is about bringing value to the franchise and the league as a whole. She is arguably the best point guard in the world. She is just a different sort of force out on the floor. She plays with a different pace and a different energy. There is a reason she is so fun to watch. What happened in Chicago was the moment everything started to separate. This is about 2 completely different paths and 2 different impacts. Why is one player being embraced while the other is being pushed out? The difference between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is the impact. When Caitlin Clark steps onto the court, everything changes. Ticket sales spike and arenas sell out. TV ratings jump, sometimes even tripling compared to average games. She shifted the entire business around the league. Teams started moving games to larger venues to accommodate the demand. That is not hype, that is measurable impact. Clark talks about the opportunity being a super cool opportunity. She says, if you did not feel butterflies, you probably did not care enough. She recognizes this is a different stage. She knows she is not just going to come out and be the star player every time. For USA basketball, you have to find a way to help the team win. You find a way to compete to the best of your ability. She feels a level of excitement and joy. Getting to do it at this level for the first time is the best way. While Clark was elevating the league externally, Reese was struggling internally. One builds value while the other creates tension. In professional sports, that difference decides everything. It is not just the fans noticing this shift, it is the league itself. With Caitlin Clark, the pattern is clear. Players around her get better. Spacing improves and ball movement increases. Most importantly, there is buy-in from the team. Teammates do not feel threatened, they feel empowered. That is leadership without needing to say a word. But for Angel Reese, the pattern looks completely different. Instead of cohesion, you had friction. Instead of trust, you had frustration. Once that dynamic takes over a locker room, it spreads fast. Energy is contagious, and so is dysfunction. For the longest time, there was a perception that coverage was not equal. Criticism toward Clark was amplified, while controversy around Reese was softened. But now that wall is cracking. When major outlets publish stories about locker room relief, that is exposure. And once that shift happens, it is very hard to reverse. Fans start connecting the dots and looking at moments differently. They reevaluate what they saw during games. The next chapter is Atlanta. On paper, the move looks like an opportunity. They have talent, and they already know how to win. Adding a high rebounding forward should, in theory, make them better. But this exact situation has happened before. The real question is not how it starts. It is how it ends. If the same patterns show up again, this will not be a fresh start. It will just be a repeat. Look at the career pattern Maryland, LSU, Chicago, and now Atlanta. At some point, you have to ask if this is coincidence or consistency. Great players usually stabilize environments, they do not keep resetting them. They become the foundation, not the disruption. Clark faced pressure and physical play, but locker room drama did not follow her. Leadership is not about being the loudest voice. It is about making everyone around you better. Right now, the perception is that Caitlin Clark elevates, while Angel Reese complicates. The WNBA is growing faster than ever before. Leagues build around players who bring value on and off the court. They build around players who unify, not divide. One player is rising with the league while the other is running out of places to reset. If Atlanta does not work, there will not be another easy explanation. There will only be one conclusion left. By then, the league will have already moved on. Some fans are simply sick of her. Critics call her a media-created all-star. They question her trademark stats as me-bounds. Some call her poison in the well. If she is so great, why would they trade her? She was a stat patter and not serious about winning. She cannot hit a layup or anything outside of 5 feet. Others say she showed her true colors and hatred for Caitlin Clark. She refused to pass the ball to CC while playing for the American team. Her rebound records are mainly from her own missed shots. She does not care about her team, it is all for her. No wonder people have had enough. Some say she is so overrated. Many other players have more talent than her. People are comparing her to the Chicago mayor who also screwed everything up. Arrogance and conceit play a role in her decision-making. It will lead to destruction. Teams are getting rid of the dead weight. What is worse, shooting 13% or being toxic. It is simply not professional. If you have to tell people how great you are nothing. She will be forgotten. In 2 years, she might just be an equipment manager if she is lucky. She was an elite athlete in college where she peaked. In the WNBA, she is regressing every year. The only thing growing is her ego. The face of the WNBA, LOL. Some believe the stories are just fake news. They say she is happy and enjoying herself. Others ask where these articles are even coming from. They say Google shows no articles from Yahoo Sports saying she is a bad teammate. Did she make the most of her limited talent, or could she be a solid player? Some fans are ecstatic she is gone because they watch for Camila Cardoso. They believe Camila's stats will go through the roof now. Angel hogging the ball subdued Camila's athleticism. Her emotional instability is about to ruin her career. It might even ruin her life as well. Sky players probably all went to dinner and raised a glass to thank Atlanta. Some sketches write themselves. How did she even make it onto the USA women's team in early 2026? People say we talk bad about her just to get clicks. They say we should pay her because she is making us money. Caitlin Clark just got bodied on national TV and her own league went silent. Nobody is talking about the real reason why. The media narrative around Clark is built on half-truths. One statistic completely changes how you see that controversy. What happens to Clark matters for the future of women's sports. It is bigger than basketball. Everything you hear is based on publicly available information. This channel is not affiliated with Caitlin Clark or the WNBA. We are here to break down what the data actually says. We respect all players in this conversation. Clark absorbed more hard fouls per game than any guard in the league. That is not a coincidence. Viewership is up 260% year over year. That number does not lie. More money did not mean more respect. The generational tension leads us to what nobody in mainstream media wants to say. Game 1 drew over 2 million viewers, the highest in 23 years. The last time a rookie changed a league this fast was LeBron in 2003. The road she traveled to get here tells a completely different story. Doing the work in silence eventually speaks louder than any controversy. Clark did not silence her critics by arguing. She silenced them by playing. How you respond to pressure is what builds champions. She walked into a league that was not ready for her. She carried expectations no rookie should carry. Her real superpower was her willingness to be imperfect in public. Drop a basketball in the comments if Clark gave you a moment. Let us know if you think she gets treated fairly by the league. Every comment helps this story reach more sports fans. Now you know the full story of what is happening around Caitlin Clark. But there is one player whose journey makes this controversy look like a warm-up. Wait until you hear what other players actually went through behind the scenes. This channel is just here to break down what the numbers actually say. Drop your take in the comments. Now you know the real story.